I can hear you in person. I can hear you online.
You could walk right around if you want.
I could smack you in the back of the head, Dust. Be careful.
I like the violence so early in the morning.
I don't think you'd do that.
No, I would never.
I don't think you're allowed to
on camera, though.
No, of course, of course.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the headlines on that one?
I could. I feel like I'd get away with it, Dust.
Probably so.
Yeah, I think Scrunny's got one. He's got one for
I
free.
think unfortunately you're right. Unfortunately for me, that is.
Okay, gents, we got the game to go to, so let's get into the action.
Yeah, let's do it. Very informational panel. We keep Dust around and we rule with an iron fist, but we rule because he brings so much to the table. Mohan, our analysts, I think, dissected this one very nicely, and now we're going into a game that I agree with Dustin is very important for these two teams to be like who is going to be our top 5 in 2026, because both these rosters were under a magnifying glass in terms, or microscope, in terms of who was going to make a change coming into this year. Neither of them did. I think there's some parallel in that regard, and I think this is a great chance to duke it out early. And that duking will go down here on Banana. We talked about it on the analyst desk. MongolZ dead first. Now, all of a sudden, 3 kills come with it. So it's a bit of a fast bloodbath, and it's instantly into a B bomb site. NAVI, unfortunately, absolutely owned here in the first pistol. MOUZ going to take that momentum of their map pick off of the very first round. BIT, however, going to try to make something look possible. Not the case, however. Still 3 survivors out of MOUZ.
Do you have a winner in this game? You're leaning at all?
I think, honestly,
I find this tough.
It is a very difficult game to call. I think I'm actually going to lean Navi's way off this one, just because I was really impressed with the individual levels we saw yesterday.
Actually, we had so they were talking about Dust 2 being the weakest, one of the weakest maps for both of them. But it gets even worse. They play if this series comes down to 1/2 and we go to Dust 2, MOUZ got 0 T rounds yesterday versus PARIVISION.
Worrying.
But in their last 3 maps, they are all single-digit losses on Dust 2. Across all 3 in total, they got 4 T rounds.
But today will be different, Launders. That's what the MOUZ camp wants you
to. Why? Because we're not going to Dust 2?
Yeah, possible. It's crazy. I thought, I was following along with the video, and I thought the desk kind of had it pinned down so well. And after what we saw yesterday with the struggle of the T side, I was right there as well. I didn't think Dust 2 was going to be played again today. It feels like it's a punish at the moment. Yet MOUZ feeling capable. There was a loss streak as well, though, for Navi going down here on Inferno, but Dust brought it up, getting a victory in Krakow over top of FURIA. I mean, that's something to be proud of. So we'll see if they'll be able to turn it around, potentially with this force buy. It still features a bunch of grenades, but doesn't feature all too many defenders here at the B site where we do get MOUZ set up early.
Yeah, they don't really believe it. This smoke, it seems like more of an invitation than anything else. Alexi is really going to have to find a way to multiply his presence to scare him away. And there comes down a second smoke, but you still have MOUZ patient. But wisely, Navi realize that this is being called out. Start to move over.
Utility up and over the top. MongolZ is going to lose his line, frag to pop it open, and another volley here for the MOUZ attack. MongolZ tries to find his timing, will connect to the headshot. Emez Desert Eagle, wonderful, finds one as well. Xerxin and Torsi bring it back though, and it falls on this Alexi backside. Holds, he gets it. The last bullet nails it, and we go 1v1 round 2.
Oh, scary for Torsi. He'll get the bomb down, but Bit's already crossed right.
MP9 at this range though, trying to close that gap versus the Galil of Torsi, which is almost empty. Check out that HUD. Now he's going to have to go for the reload. That opens the door for Bit to cover this distance. Torsi, he loses out to Bit, and the force buy comes through. How many of those pistol kills were with the last bullet those players got to shoot?
When the Deagle got that frag, I thought it was definitely done. But MOUZ kept the numbers for a second, and that last 5-7 frag really made the difference. But an MP9 kill, every kill crazier than the last.
In 2026.
From that far away?
With the MP7 on the field.
Oh, is that a 7?
No, I mean, as an option, the MP7. He still pulls it off. So many of these pistol frags came down to the wire, but, I mean, round win is a round win. Navi put it on the board.
I thought it was crazy in the first place that Bit decided to scale from CT instead of going through Con with the MP9.
Yeah.
He'd still be far away, but a little bit closer.
I also kind of thought him tucking into the tree was going to be a moment where suddenly he kind of gets hard cleared by Torsi's challenge, and he gets away with it. So we go force buy right back. Desk kind of had this game painted as a very tight-knit affair, and 2 rounds in, we see why. Big question today will be about the individuals, right? We saw some promising stuff from E-Man to Wonderful yesterday. It was Spinx to lead the camp for MOUZ off their opening game. And I like how the desk kind of painted the picture of like, this is 2 systems that we can throw up against one another. There's no superstar in the server per se. We've got coaches that are going to have their impact as these game plans have to be fine-tuned. And so timing over into the pit, it's a full-in rush. Wonderful's going to find himself a triple kill off the A4. And while USB's in hand, it's a good distraction to allow that smoke push, which almost costs Alexi, but he'll survive it. Navi do convert with 2 players still up.
He just takes such a good adjective out of the vocabulary for his highlights, you know, because it's always so wonderful. Every time he gets these kills, and it's more and more every day. I feel like his highlights are getting more consistent. His floor as an opper is getting more consistent. And actually, I mentioned this the other day, but ZywOo is like the only top opper right now that's just consistent, opping, top player. Everyone else is like struggling in some of the bigger moments. And yeah, Wonderful had a bad couple of final games recently, but overall, his consistency is like way better year over year than it has been since he's joined the team. And he's just he's become Mr. Reliable, actually, which I think is really nice for him and for Navi.
Surely for Navi
and
as
for
well.
Imma here at Cluj.
I get you. Yeah, he was playing like he wants to get into the BT arena as fast as possible. And that is obviously what we're doing here, day 2 in Cluj. Groups, Swiss, and Navi. We go back to the major. We paint them as one of these teams that can just fly through a Swiss group stage. MOUZ have, at times in their history, absolutely faltered in Swiss at majors. I think of Paris. But they've also, Copenhagen, the very first CS2 major, been a 3-0 team as well. So
you never know what you'll get with them.
I feel like there's so many parallels between these rosters that we kind of get to dissect today.
Yeah, I think like, you know, they like both of them kind of punch up for what they have. Navi probably a little more, especially with Spinx coming into MOUZ.
Yeah.
But even that's kind of hard to say. I'm not exactly sure. You know, they have Blade. They have Wonderful in this form, which I feel like you take Wonderful over Torzi right now. And this stuff kind of comes and goes with Navi, but one thing's actually for sure, as in a roster and in their entirety, they're not in that sort of summer period where after the Copenhagen major, they got it all together and then kind of validated their performance to show exactly how good they could be. But even with MongolZ on the team, I think MongolZ was actually really good last year. I think in a lot of games where Navi were struggling, it was pretty much only MongolZ who was kind of showing up, and he was doing it as a rookie, which made it even more impressive. It's not like he had lights out stats, but for his roles, actually, I think he was above what he should have been delivering, and a lot of people doubted him, right? We always had that Zwei quote that's been repeated a million times. And that was funny because he obviously outlasted him, but definitely been solid.
One of my questions about Navi, though, Mo, is something we always kind of praise Blade for in the system and the organization. They always really kind of have a peak. Even if it's not their peak of the year, they always kind of find their form in the biggest events that matter. We go back to 2025, playoffs at both majors, at Cologne, at Katowice, which have always been, you know, these considered spectacular events. The question will now be, is in 2026, Cluj one of those events for a team like Navi, and especially after we come from Krakow, or IEM Winters, all of a sudden Navi weren't there. They've started 2026 without the consistency of 2025 that they were hoping to tap back into. And I think that you could replace a Krakow or a Kato with a Cluj this year. With this field of teams, with this format, etc. This is a moment where I hope for their sake they are able to put it all together, because this event is one of the big ones.
I will not be doubting Navi at this event. No chance. I think they've got the crowd to look forward to. That's the first thing. I think that actually plays a factor in many tournament runs we've seen in history. It only works if your team is already good enough, and they are. And then you have things like Wonderful, who I'm just not going to sleep on. I think that he'll have a good event. We saw him as form yesterday as an individual. And yeah, I've always thought if I was playing today in this like really difficult field, everyone's so good, I would never set my sights on trying to peak at the right times. I'd just be trying to win whenever I could.
Sure.
But I feel like because Blade has been around the block for so long, he actually could make that a reality. I don't know if anyone else can really time it like he can, or if it is just a little bit of random chance that they power up at the right times. But I think with some of the veteran orgs and players, high contact competition. Did the cameraman win?
We won.
It's kind of unfair. He probably blinked behind the camera.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It could totally be chance, because I mean, even when they won Copenhagen, Blade was like, wow.
Well, that wasn't in the script. It just feels so consistent, though, from him, And I would never doubt that Blade has a plan.
Yes, he's got a plan.
At all times.
You see how small the font is in the notes. It's a very detailed one. Actually, on the question of assisting coaches to coaches, I thought that was a interesting
that was a very
topic.
good question.
I also thought that, maybe exist, because, let's be real, we look at exist. It seems like he would love to be in the background more than to be like some kind of emotional leader of a team.
Yep.
And I also wonder how granular it is, the responsibilities that take place the lower down you go. Like I'd imagine, and I'd have to ask him, but I'd imagine that his jobs are more specific than Cyclone's. Like it goes from nades to prep to tactics,
right,
and then to overarching strategy, emotional leadership for Cyclone, and him taking on some of the smaller roles. Not smaller, but just more detailed, more specific roles, which
it's funny.
I could see exist as a watchmaker.
Okay.
Tinkering.
Sure.
In very fine details to make things happen. I
think that you could see Spinx being, the guy who owns the watch shop 2 stores down as well. The two of them competing. And I do think it's funny. I thought it was a great question from Sam just because we don't really discuss assistant coaches all too often.
Yes, man.
And then when it comes to those, yes, when it comes to them, you just wonder, you've never heard somebody say, God damn, this team needs to change their assistant coach. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, the perfect place for a guy like Spinx.
Well, I think the thing about esport, if you think about sports, if you think about hockey, it's like your coach he's the first guy under the gun every time.
Yeah, of course.
Then, you know what I mean? And it's but in Counter-Strike, there's a lot more triangular power given to the coach. Everything happens under him.
Illuminati.
Yeah, essentially. But it's not a conspiracy. It's
real.
For real. And I think that is partially because of Blade. He's kind of made that seem possible. I think before Blade, it was hard to find coaches. It was Blade and Zonic. It was hard to find coaches that you could trust with all that power. They didn't know the game well enough. The players all seemed to be both better understanding of the game and better at the game and more relevant in the current metas. So until Blade showed us what, the power of his tack pauses could do, or, Zonic's, the amount of time that he was on top, how much his, and the reviews of him, how much he was impactful, it didn't feel like it made sense for other organizations to try to copy that. And instead they kept the coach on, but the coach was expendable. But it's a different time now. And I think also that some of the coaches probably weren't good enough back then to have all that responsibility,
right?
But have learned so much over the last few years and have really grown into the role.
It just feels like a role and a job that now there are people out there who kind of aspire to just be, right? Like it's not just an ex-pro who then becomes a coach, but it's a career path in Counter-Strike that you can commit yourself to pretty early on. I think of somebody like Sid for FURIA, who's just kind of, born within that. I had never heard of him beforehand. Again, probably playing experience to some degree or another, but you kind of go onto that path and you get brought in. And maybe it takes somebody like Fallen to be in the in-game leadership to give a guy like Sid his chance. I think you still need 2 great minds. But that's the funny part about coaching, isn't it? Now we always talk about them as packages. It's the coach with the in-game leader.
Yeah.
And maybe a guy like Spinx in the shadows.
Yeah, Maui was talking about how MOUZ are burning through 3 timeouts in 6 rounds with Cyclone, how important that is. I do think a lot of coaches in general are just using them on T sides and hoping you survive the CT, hoping the other team uses theirs on T sides, and then you can talk at the same time. But it really does speak to, I mean, we can see it. We've tried to, I don't know if it was Nero or someone else who tried to parse the data on how many wins there were after tack pauses. But some of that is a little bit hard to be concrete with because you could take a tack pause on the eco for the following round and then lose. So
the old 2-for-1.
Yeah. So, but based on what we saw, that was investigated because we were talking about how it seemed like every time Blade called attack, they'd win.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it began, I think.
Yeah, there's always a stats guy. We can start, making claims off what we think we see, and the stats guys roll through.
Yeah.
That was one of those oddities, though, where I feel like the numbers still backed it up. Again,
They did, yeah. I think Blade was maybe slightly in the lead. There might have been one other guy.
a couple percentage points. I'm gonna call it the Blade difference.
I'm thinking it was like low 50s, though. It wasn't like anyone was 70% off the back of tax. But I mean, you could have the golden strat, but execution always weighs more.
Always.
Counter-Strike isn't that complicated of a game where strategy is more important than like shooting and just micro and how much an individual can totally upend a round.
And yet here we find ourselves today with two teams whose individuals aren't there to take over the server on their own per se. Maybe Wonderful is finding himself in that spot more often. Maybe his evolution and consistency could put him onto that pedestal. But for the time being, today, our desk didn't talk about this matchup like that.
I do think that, with NAVI as an organization, they play with Simple for so long. He's a self-starter. He's one of the most industrious players to ever touch this game. He knows he's kind of developed individual metas himself. He's shown how to be aggressive versus the best. He's gotten away with so many things that no one else has still to this day even tried. And when they switch over to Wonderful, it's more of a Shiro James style opper, the new breed from that region where it's like you're really not participating in any opening duels unless you're told to or you have to. And in all three of them, it's probably their personality that starts them off there, and just the idea of James developing this economy first meta where you're trying to save as much as possible for more chances to op. But now Wonderful, even though he still needs to get a boost or get sent out for a tactic to try to go for the opening kills, there's just more success with it. So it's kind of now, I think before he'd try it once in a while, but it would only be halfway. And you could tell he was kind of not comfortable.
Yep. Agreed.
And then he'd leave when there was no chance to shoot, and then they'd be in a 5v5. No pick play to get you a free round win. But now they're getting those picks more consistently. We saw him on Mirage yesterday. He was great.
It's always a head scratcher for me as to whether that's somebody who finds out that they can go for these moments and kind of fights for that space, or whether it's, we've got players who have that, they kind of have to have that instilled into them, right? I think ZywOo's an example of somebody who for so long, Vitality as an org just kept coming out into interviews and saying we really want ZywOo to just kind of take over when he wants to.
But he's a bit of a soldier sometimes.
It's not it's not his default setting. Funnily enough, speaking of Vitality, Mezzi's kind of in that spot right now as well, where we've had a recent interview saying kind of the same, right? That he's such a good teammate that sometimes it's to our disadvantage. And if I'm not mistaken, it's Inferno specifically now where he's kind of getting more done, and we're seeing his impact just continue to rise.
I think the reality of that is that Apex loves a player like that.
He does.
He has enough energy for everybody.
He is one as well. That's kind of Apex. Takes what he wants, does what he wants, wins when he wants. Thank you for your patience, folks. Let's get back into it. It's not much to get into. Pistols here for MOUZ. Obviously, Navi converting what MOUZ couldn't. The pistol round win for MOUZ turns into the force buy and conversion out of Navi. And we find ourselves here in the fourth. Backs turned in brackets. Should be the shooting gallery, but it is enough of a distraction to at least get boots on the ground out bow. Hello. Wonderful whips it around with the MP9 to make a little more money. And with one casualty, Navi not mad about that.
Really, really clean here. A single death. Lots of money made, and really early error for MOUZ that's starting to come back to haunt them in a big way. So this game's going to be about form. Yeah, I think that, Dust mentions peak versus recent form, and we all know your last month is worth more than someone's peak 3 months ago. It's in Counter-Strike, it's really about how you're feeling right now. Like, honestly, this week really, I think, matters the most. And even knowing that, even with that frame of reference, it's kind of hard to say who's going to be better.
Kaze willing to burn. Loses 2/3 his health to utility.
But it's a good call out. They actually have banana. There is no one who pushed through the smoke or the molly, and it is a total fake.
Heavy emphasis on the brackets control, though, between Navi's players, and the way Spinx and Jimmy are taking a look at Balk right now, the way they got out 1 round ago. Oh, Bit gets cleared off top of the porch. Not one frag comes out from Navi, despite having 3 players here.
Gotta say, I mean, so if you think it's going to be a Halls play, you want to have a double pit setup. Ideally, I mean, that's always great. But even if you've got that lane setup with the op in place, ready to take the first shot on mid, it's already cooked. There's just no way. Your rifler standing underneath the balcony, if someone jumps out, that can be a free kill sometimes. Then you let someone get into pit, and you deal with mid. But in this situation, MOUZ did it perfectly. I think that for the timing they created, it was totally beyond Navi to assume they went all the way around to apt because they were just on banana. They thought maybe they canceled it, went to mid when we're going to go for brackets, and then going to something later.
Wonder if a part of that as well is just them doing it in the last round on just the Glocks too, right? Same thing, 2 players jumping out Balk into the play. Navi try to rinse and repeat a setup versus guns, and MOUZ slipped the net. Desk did a very great job of just kind of discussing how the systems and the game plans, there's very clearly with these 2 teams always a game plan at the start of the day. And those game plans are going toe-to-toe right now in this first rifle round. It looks like a very well pieced together counterplay out of MOUZ, and now it's just going to be the discussion of adaptations all day long. These 2 teams, these 2 coaches, their in-game leaders, their systems will be tested to the limits in terms of evolution and response. And so Navi losing a round that convincingly,
yes,
we'll see what changes next.
They also had a 3rd player over Arch, like by Moto. That could have been the guy watching Halls for Wonderful. Did they need to have Arch control if they already had full vision on mid? I don't even think it was smoked.
Yeah, he kind of pulls back and tries to save it, but they're already so quickly out through balcony. Little VRS forecast. How's the weather today in Cluj? Well, to number 3 go MOUZ if they can defeat Navi. Just a little jump up the system. And Navi playing for 7th place no matter what, Mohan. They are 7th, they'll be 7th, or they'll be 7th.
That's pretty chill.
And that's the funny thing, right? The desk, I think, again, good conversation, just talking how Navi and MOUZ both sort of need this. MOUZ to propel themselves forward within top 5 again. This VRS forecast proves that. They'll be top 3, kind of where they, I would believe, consider themselves. But even if Navi win, the rank might not change, but I think the conversation does. If you're dispatching of the likes of MOUZ, whether or not that boils down to beating them on Dust 2 where others do as well, the nature of this victory for Navi, I think, could also be a big deal.
I think Navi are one of the teams that if they get the leap into playoffs a little bit early, they don't have to play the extra games. I'm less doubtful that that's going to matter, that they're going to start cold in playoffs or something like that. So I think they're pretty excited about, because I honestly think, like, when we see at majors, there's some teams that know that if you don't play the extra games, it can be too quick. You jump too far in playoffs or too early, and you need officials to keep getting better. You need extra prac days, basically. I don't think Navi are thinking about that, though. I think they just want to get there as fast as possible because they use their prep really well. And, yeah, they actually do sometimes have very strong starts. MOUZ just have this, more of a demon on their shoulder less about the tactics, less about the strategy, more about the composure, more about the belief in the victory, I guess. And I think there was a point where they actually didn't doubt themselves, but they just lost on honest merit to teams that were better than them. Yep. But now it's probably compounded into doubt, where it's like, was it us or was it the stage or was it the, and now you're starting to second guess it. And that's where, like you brought it up, that if that happens a certain amount of time, there's almost no fixing it. You kind of just have to, you need to change the scenery, really.
Yep. And then the question is as well is like if this is allowed to compound for so long, let's say there's a world where for the next 6 months, the next season, seeing as MOUZ didn't make changes, the same problem continues to happen. Let's just live in a world where we get to June after the major, tragedy strikes for MOUZ again. Not a world I'm hoping for, but one that, let's just say, would changing one player erase all that? It almost feels like one isn't enough at that point. Do you change 2 players? Can you fix that? You know, it's a scary thought for them just particularly because at first it starts with like if your individual level falls off, I think of a guy like Xerxen. Just statistically, he was one of like the worst case examples of getting into the playoffs and then kind of not being able to tap into what his group stage was. And then, you wonder if in his head he first thinks, oh, is it me? Yeah. But then collectively it starts to become, is it us?
Yeah.
And
but
that's
ironically, he actually improves a lot in playoffs.
Yep.
But yeah, it's true. It's hard to find out or think to what the root is, especially in a game that doesn't breathe. Like we just constantly play.
Counter-Strike.
There's no time to like ruminate on what's happened a month ago, the last major, even though that context can really matter. You don't get a long vacation. I mean, we know there's player breaks, tournament breaks for us, but even in that, players come back early to start warming up for the event that begins like the day before the player break ends, flying in 2 days before that. So it's not like they have tons of time in the off seasons even, especially basically if you're in the top 10, right?
Yeah, because then you have to be at the HLTV award show, and that's the weekend before. And
yeah, it's true.
My God. It's a shame suffering from success like that. It's what lets guys like PARIVISION and FUT catch up.
FUT catching up. Thank you for joining us on the PGL podcast. I think we are almost through it.
Cluj.
I just hope that, what I want the tradition to be for that mouse pad with Scream signature to come back every year.
Oh, yeah?
I know he's listening.
For those who don't know what we're talking about.
They just need to make that the trophy, honestly.
Last year, while we were here, coming back since the first time since the early Cluj-Napoca major, Launders and I were approached by a fine gentleman outside the venue, and he said, Launders, Scotty, can you sign this mouse pad? And we're like, yeah, sure thing. And it's a fun game whenever somebody offers you something to add your name to, you kind of give it a look over, and usually, like, what teams did you run into already, etc. And we saw Paula's name. And we saw Scream's name.
We saw Mantruce.
That's true, Mantruce. And we're like, what? And then Scream, and we asked, like, when did you see Scream? And he said, sure enough, the 2015 major.
In Cluj, he says, I've been standing here ever since.
Yeah. It's so cold. I'm so hungry. But yeah,
so we gave him some food.
Cluj is one of those events that it's like it happened so long ago that, I was never there. Funnily enough, we were kind of...
Were you even watching CS at that time? That was like the first...
Yeah, the first major I watched was the second in 2014. Watched vaguely.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I just missed the Cato stickers.
That's Virtus Pro winning? Was that the first? Yeah, okay. That was a good one.
Yeah, I was a very big Virtus Plow fan early days.
A few roster moves have happened since then.
One or two. Things have changed.
Things you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
If we went back to a guy and told him...
Yeah.
you wouldn't even know where to begin.
Guess what? We just talked about Flit and Fame yesterday, and while we were discussing them, they got cut from VP.
I missed that. Fame
did? And Flit were removed from Virtus Pro's starting team yesterday. And you didn't know that because we were talking about them on VP when the news dropped. No. And obviously we're not watching.
What in the world?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I feel like the guy from 2014 now.
I'm not saying we're the main characters, Launders, but we maybe made that happen.
We need to bring back a 7-man lineup here for PARIVISION.
Yeah, that's right. But long story short, Cluj has got history and we're tapping back into it. And this year in 2026, this will be the best Cluj event you've ever seen. A clash down on Banana because MongolZ and Xerxin are going to go toe-to-toe the entire time. All day long, both sides. We saw it yesterday from Xerxin as well. In that Inferno game, MOUZ were able to win. He was involved with 6 of the 12 opening duels on the CT side of Banana. Successful in 4, failed in 2. Early days, both MongolZ and Xerxin dead. And I think you can expect to see more and more of this as this T side gets going.
And that'll be fun. I mean, they're both 2 and 4. It's going to be good to watch.
Gonna be curious to see if either of them are able to kind of leave an impact on the game when we know the grenades, right, as well. We had high praise for MOUZ's utility yesterday on Inferno. We always have praise for NAVI's utility as well. And these two players have an important but difficult job. And it's one thing to just kind of do your job enough for the rest of the team to succeed. It's another to kind of leave your name on the game when you're going to be expected to die so early.
That's a massive find.
We go 4 versus 3 off of the EMET Archhold. Wonderful picks one off of Banana as well. Torzy trying to take that look into the B bomb site, but he meets his counterpart and he meets his demise. Now Jimmy and Broland, the 2v4. 30 seconds. And honestly, within this bomb site, a 2v2 by definition. No rotation over just yet. Navi starting to consider their spawn, but Jimmy's going to crack open this bomb site. And we've got Bit just looking to keep his head down. 15 seconds means it's added pressure, and Bit will get traded. A Brolin clutch, 6 and 3 already, 2 kills to go, and they're both going to come at this from middle. Wonderful's off behind Alexi B, wounded down to half health, and does Brolin want to get off site? Yes, of course. Wants to get it over towards the pit with the Moto smoke up already, and he's found that timing to get into the cover, but Navi are also moving pretty quickly, although quietly. He sees both, and Brolin back into the cover. Wonderful's gonna find it. Despite the health disadvantage he starts with, he still just gets this over the line, and we've got Navi adding another to the tally.
One bullet goes a little bit too high for Brolin, and he's actually been playing so well so far today, but can't deliver the clutch on this one. It would have been a game changer, really. That sight head seemed impossible. After this frag, it just felt like a layup for Navi, but it was very well fought here.
We've been discussing Wonderful's consistency and his ability to kind of take over. Well, this is an important clutch. He got his kill versus Torzy as well in the head-to-head towards B. Clutch was that close.
The international lineup, so they can speak a lot of languages.
Frag grenade here on Xerxin and Brolin. Yeah, MongolZ is going to be able to clean up the first one. Flash, though, finds MongolZ. He'll get executed because of the fire covering Brolin. He has no trade potential, and we get the exact same instance as the 1 round prior. Both MongolZ and Xerxin dead out of the gate, although MongolZ gets his this time.
And then that flash landed right in his mouth. I mean, that was about as good as it gets.
Pop, pop. Ooh,
but Jimmy.
Lurky angle coming out through the balcony, and Bit gets blasted for it. Jimmy with the back-to-back headshots, but the bomb is still on Banana. And Jimmy's not operating alone here. Player right behind him. We start to see Torzy move that bomb over, and away go Navi. The smoke on Moto means they're going to try to transition into the save. Forfeiture of the A site forced by the hands of Yimvet.
Yeah, nicely done. I mean, that's that little stutter step out of the balcony, and Wonderful is like, oh man, I just picked the, slightly wrong timing on
No
how to
safe
approach
guaranteed
this.
either here, huh?
They're looking for him, but okay, yeah. Period. They're looking for him.
There's no guarantee, but it is still earned. An AK-47 for it. MOUZ able to break through, so we go 4 rounds without consecutive victories for either team. A real battle here back and forth, but another instance where balcony is going to be a pain point for Navi's A site by the looks of it. We get that early round where they get out for free. This time, very different look, but it is still Jimmy taking a test and had a teammate right behind him. So worst case, maybe he gets traded, but Jimmy will do it on his own here in round number 7.
Yeah, it's a very apt point right there. It's surprising because, a lot of haps, you don't see people even Especially the lurkers, they might come out, well, first of all, they'll come out if they have to. Sometimes that's the perfect time. Late round, high numbers for the other team, you don't really care. You're just going to take a peek, hope there's not an op on you, and then maybe you can do something. Well, Jimmy's done that twice now. A lot of halves, T-lurk can be really boring. You're sitting there, you're just making sure no one takes it over so that you can come out of lane, come out of arch, and then you come in late to just clear the pit and guarantee the site is won. But yeah, a lot of impact from MOUZ. So are NAVI going to start with an Astralis setup in Halls ever? Get this problem eliminated earlier, they're going to keep focusing on Banana.
All the gun rounds begin with this clash. MongolZ is going to go sprinting down into it. Oh, easy. Xerxin from the corner finds himself a double kill. There was utility there to try to support that. The all-in from Navi's gamble does not pay off whatsoever. And MOUZ given a real chance to tie this game up, but they could still find a speed bump if they're not careful. We've got damage on Xerxin and Brolin. It's not like those kills were totally escaping Navi, but they are still left in a 3v5.
There's that perfect routing around the molly to not leave an audio cue, really. There was footsteps, but there was so much other action going on. And yet still, Xerxin came through with a 2K. Great response.
Just nice to see him kind of have a round to be proud of so far, because MongolZ was sort of winning that battle.
And you can look at the map. It's the battle that wins the map overall.
Jimmy getting stepped on. Spinx secures it.
He's into it.
And onto that, Brolin's able to wrap around through Arch with no contest. So this will be MOUZ's 4th round. This will be the tied game at 4. Navi looking to hang on to majority after saving 2 rounds in the round prior. So still runway on this CT side, but MOUZ showing us that Xerxin's going to bring a fight to this very critical battle of Banana.
Yeah, I just want to press fast forward and just get a repeat of Banana and see what happens this time, because we're getting a lot of fresh looks. Good counterplay. Thought Navi were going to put themselves into pole position, but now it just feels like the exact opposite.
Couple low health bars here. There's actually room for Navi to deal a bit of damage. They obviously just want to keep these 2 guns, but each team loses 1 in the standoff within the save.
It'll be a Romanian standoff. Is that a thing?
I mean, it might start being one.
Yeah.
I don't know what they'd do battle with, but
maybe we could call it that. When you know, when a smoke, we don't have a name for when a smoke fades and you have to take that raw reaction time duel, you know? The true test of who's faster. Standing on the other side of a smoke, that could be it.
Looking to get that smoke once again. MOUZ moving into Banana early. No frag grenades this time over. Obviously limited in the utility were Navi. And so I think MOUZ know they've got an innate advantage. If the grenades and the pressure aren't going to come flying around that Banana corner, then why not just go and take it, right? We said B is such a critical point. And Brolin's going to be dropped by the Berettas. There are players in position, but it's just the USP. So once Brolin's been figured out, Spinx is here to clear it out. And MOUZ knew from the get-go they had an edge here. They will show no hesitation in flexing that advantage, and on top of it, taking the lead.
Feels like there's an emergent theme about like really focusing on one site that it's not now. It's, I mean, originally it was just like Aurora, and then how funny that was.
Yeah, sure.
But then it was like PARIVISION and how seriously they made it part of their identity, and just also showing the math on we do it because we're picking on the weaker players. The logic is amazing.
Sure.
Honestly, even since the beginning of watching Counter-Strike, you would always wonder, you know, it'd be like Zeus on a site or another IGL on a top team. And yeah, exactly. And you go, why aren't they just going there? I mean, he is still that guy. You know, Simple's on the other side. Why would you ever go anywhere else, right? And PARIVISION just said, yeah, let's do that at the highest level. And it ended up working pretty well.
Yep.
But it feels like there's certain maps, like on overpass, where it's B no matter what, just because the site advantages are so overwhelming. But I wonder if that, PARIVISION's entrance into top 5 actually has started to change people's minds about how they should even approach Counter-Strike in that regard.
That almost feels like a sentence you're not allowed to say.
Because only before, because before you'd only hear if a team was playing with a coach.
Right.
That you would, we went there, we went to that side, everyone, because the coach was there.
Oh, slam the stand-in. He doesn't know what the protocols are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always kind of wondered, is it the map? Is it the team that's choosing to do it? Is it the nature of the opponent?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard Saw from behind Heroic make that call.
Okay.
To say, like, you're going to this side, he's not playing well today. I think even that, just form right now, is a big thing as well.
Yeah. A wise man once said, the best time to kick somebody is when they're already on the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, timing on the peak here for Wonderful. Does that without an op. And, thought he was going to get around the corner, but Spinx is quick, and Xerxin bests MongolZ. Trying to get through that smoke. Xerxin has his vision. Looked like the flash came around to the close wall, but obviously blocked by Xerxin's angle. So MongolZ is just kind of a sitting duck. And it's not the opening duel this time because Wonderful gets aggressive down middle. But it is still a part of it, and poor Alexi whittled down to 15 health. Now Navi are straight up losing these opening fights.
Oh, we got an HE left on Xerxin as well, but it looks like it might be nade for sandbags. He's going to molly hop. We'll see how he uses it. But Alexi, he just wants no part in this whatsoever. It's a stack and save. I guess we call it a stack or save because this is just so common.
Yep.
There is no read here. They're just
fast to it. Brolin with a headshot. Bit given a chance still. Oh, careful! Inside of the flames, Jimmy's gonna best him. That 15 health from Alexi as he was able to hide on Banana, but now they are right here and he gets the free one. But Xerxin's ready to finish what he started. He will end it with his 6th kill. Important frag versus MongolZ, and there's the close as well.
There's no chance that if you waited longer, he wouldn't get cleared. Not in that corner.
There's maybe a chance.
Is there maybe a chance? There might have been one more second, maybe the bomb gets planted before the other guy turns around. Maybe. Maybe. But the man had 15 health. Let's not even entertain. Yeah, no.
He was coming. He was coming. Yeah. You're right. Now it's fair to say that 11 rounds into this half, Xerxin, I think, has won this battle of Banana as far as the T side goes. Couple early deaths for Xerxin. Held his hands behind his back, but he's broken through the restraints. MOUZ just in general kind of winning this battle on Banana. They will take it over yet again. Another moment where we have limitations for Navi. Last time Navi were back onto the pistol, what did MOUZ do? Instant Banana control, followed through with the execute, found that B bomb site for relatively free. Interesting though, how did Jimmy not spot this? Jimmy is sitting in middle and was watching for that kind of a push, but he didn't catch the apartment's cross. What can Bit get from this?
I don't even know, but...
or maybe he did.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, he did.
Even if he's just loosely aware of it, that'll be enough. They're watching both things, so.
But if they feel like they're getting squeezed,
if they wait the problem is they wait too long, then it's not going to benefit them. If no push happens here for a bit, oh my goodness.
Finds it, the timing, that's going to scramble them to turn around. He smokes off the base. They've got to go forward, even though it feels uncomfortable. You got to bank on your gun advantage, and E-Man loses his angle to the smoke. There's Brolin to try to save the day again. A double kill to clear out the site. Xerxin's able to, within that space, find his, but you've got low health for 2. Wonderful's M4 with nothing. And MOUZ, squeezed to the limit, still come through 4 alive and a 5-round win streak, no less.
Brolin couldn't put together that clutch, but you want to see him in the beginnings of rounds, and that's the 2 entries that we know Brolin can give us. That's an excellent hit on the site. The thing that was on their advantage was they knew Navi knew exactly what they were doing. they knew they were running into a potential stack.
Right.
He had the awareness to clear the boost up in CT as well as the first guy, and then the third guy on second oranges. So very, very nice stuff here from us. That was a rock in a hard place.
Also extra careful to not give himself up to that boost angle from CT. Ooh, MongolZ getting away with the robbery. I'm pretty sure he is on fire.
Just in him.
That was...
I mean, if his score was backwards, he'd be on fire.
Fair. Bit versus Spinx in the apartments, point blank. And Bit's brought back up. This A setup has like kind of slowly gotten further and further forward. He jumps the gun on it, and Bit can't get the kill. And within that brackets control now going to be tested. You've got Emat trying his damnedest to still hang on to the arch side. Bomb confirmed, but it doesn't wrap around. It just stalls. They'll smoke off the arch itself.
Yeah, they want to constrict space now because they actually know exactly who's here and where. And they just want to slow down the rotations. It also is a problem for NAVI that they aren't coming in through mid.
Wonderful into the pit, waits for his chance, just missed it. Oh, and as he goes back in now, Torzy on the angle. We still have Bit trying to strike from up top, but no sir. Torzy with another op kill, and Spinx is in this to end it. It is a flawless 6-round streak out of MOUZ. Once the economy got underway, once we had that back and forth affair sort of ended. And so by the end of this T side out of MOUZ, we just look back and say, if not for the force by victory round 2, the conversion, oof, this is all MOUZ all day long.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful entry pack in so many different situations. And whether it was Brolin or Xerxin with an opening on Banana or Jimfat out of balcony, there were so many heroes when it came to these T-side frags. That was definitely the overwhelming stat for NAVI. They couldn't stop either site from getting picked apart, or even the dominant rounds from coming close. And NAVI now have their work cut out for them.
There was 7 successful opening duels for NAVI through that half. Only 4 rounds to come with it. On top of that, NAVI with 2 1vx's versus the 1vx of MOUZ, owned by Xerxin.
That's kind of wild, yeah. That only amounts to 4 rounds. It's just the instant responses on entries.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, nothing really felt untraded. And MOUZ, true professionals, hyper aware of when they had an economy advantage over NAVI, and every time they just kind of flex that advantage into a B site. Nades at times can hold MOUZ back, but if you don't have them, you're done. As far as they're concerned. Torzy's going to take one to the head, going for the peek down middle, so his pistol round now sits on 4 HP. And that'll have him sulking back into the middle of the A-bomb site. Smoke still goes down, but they're going to just charge right through it, jumping over to the pit. Xerxin getting flashed in, tries to dive with Berettas, and it's Emat with the vision to stop it. So NAVI belong inside of this B bomb site. Brolin trying to get the Hail Mary spam through, not going to happen. And we've got a CT setup with low health Torzy, no kit, nothing.
It's over. That's kind of wild. 1 kill, no attempt at the retake. They know this one's done. They're going to hold on to these scraps.
2 sets of Kevlar for Torzy and Jimmy, a frag grenade for Spinx.
Yeah.
And Brolin is going to find himself nothing. So excellent pistol round out of NAVI. You deterred Torzy from going for any kind of further mid play. And a total disrespect as well of Xerxin's smoke grenade. NAVI knew they were going in then and there.
Yeah.
Confident in any tradability, but no trades needed. All 5 stand still for NAVI.
And the smoke isn't really to... it's not even necessarily to stop them from coming in on a pistol round. It's just so that when Xerxin peeks out, they're coming out one at a time, then he can get a sequence. And I think the only problem was NAVI just were really ready for that. Their late scaling flash was super good.
Yep. And I think also a bit of a timing on that too, right? We already had Emat and MongolZ in the pit to deal with his push through. And there was a little bit of hesitation, I think, from Xerxes
He
to
ate the
throw the
half
smoke.
of the first flash
Yep.
as well. Yeah, and he took a second.
Pulled his
to throw this.
Berettas back out. He had the pin pulled, switched to the pistol, went back to the smoke. It's like if you get that out a little earlier, then exactly like you're saying, maybe they are a little more fearful of running through one by one. But Navi, feeling like they had the timing, were absolutely correct about it. We see the impact it has. Bullet to the back of Xerxes' head. Navi will take their T-side pistol.
I think that was the only way that we get an interesting game, so love to see that. If you have a chance to play a T-side.
Smoke for smoke on the arch. That's going to have Navi pausing for a second. Oh, never mind. They'll actually pop it open with a frag grenade and just try to test this A site. Famas inside of a little bit, hits a dink. That's good damage for an MP9 that's ready for this scaling up along the wall. Trying to push through. Jimmy's dead, but oh, that flash. And now within it, Torzy just trying to find damage, and that damage valuable because Spinx and Xerxes make kills happen off of it. Xerxes gonna go swinging wide and finds the multi-frag, melting them in that bomb site and doing the same as the first half. A force buy from the CTs in round 2 is victorious yet again.
I don't know what you thought about that, but I felt they got a bit quick with it. I felt like they came at that like it was an anti-eco, or sorry, that they were the one saving. They didn't come through with any kind of lane pressure, and they didn't take any time to like make MOUZ sweat at all. They went right into the exact right when MOUZ were ready to peek at everything, didn't force them back into really turtled positions to take away all their advantages and get them scared. And I think that's the only reason that MOUZ ended up picking that up. So I think Navi had a cortisol level spike. And then went a little too fast.
I think popping open the arch smoke with a frag grenade is just kind of evidence of exactly what you're saying. That's how much they wanted to rush it. Like, not even willing to wait that extra 10, 15 seconds. Confident in their timing, and it costs them.
Some days you had 2 coffees when you should have just had 1.
Right. And the solution to that sometimes is a third coffee.
Third coffee, but timing is everything. Then you go from scared to angry. Yeah.
Some people do their best work while agitated.
Shout out to him.
From the Moto corner, Spinx takes a bullet to the head, but still slices Alexi off the round. And Torzy's got balcony controlled while Jimmy slays on lane. Nothing here for Navi in terms of an entry. Bomb possession already offered over to MOUZ. 25 for this to expire, and Wonderful's going to hit the ground with nothing. MOUZ take double digits. To hell with the pistol round. The force buy and conversion theirs for the taking.
We didn't really know what we were going to get this game, but I think it's safe to say the better teams in the lead. They're winning all the right rounds. They're beating all the important stats that Navi would like to have in a winning half. They are even standing up to the fact that Navi picked up the second pistol. They have stomped out the ashes of any momentum that was about to begin. And I don't know. This feels like an easy finish. Navi, they showed us a great game yesterday, and there's still time, obviously, in this series, but not the start they were looking for, clearly.
Unfortunately, what started as a bit of a back and forth between MongolZ and Xerxes has now left MongolZ 4-12, bottom of the board for Navi.
That was something that when questioned, Dust brought up that he was hoping it would be Xerxes. The being a veteran, with MOUZ
comes through.
What we've seen from him.
And I think we got that because Xerxes also lost the first couple of those duels, right? He was the first casualty trying to scale up into Banana, but he found his groove. And if I'm not mistaken, kind of really took off when he was actually just started to lean back a little. You know, didn't just get thrown into the fire. Was able to tuck into the opposite side of wood. Punished MongolZ's MP9 rush down. Felt like MongolZ was kind of put into a squeeze there, forced to make things happen with less guns. And from that point on, it's just been Xertion all day long. But it also didn't always boil down to that banana fight either, right? I think, you know, tapping back into Jimmy finding those superb timings out through balcony. Catching Navi's A-site off guard. That was a 5 alive situation, no bomb plant. All is good as far as MOUZ are concerned. Feels like they just want to get this first map done with. And it'll be another example of, well, of two things. One, Navi, who, yes, are coming off of an Inferno victory in Krakow, but right back to, if I'm not mistaken, it was 7 of the last 10 maps of Inferno, all losses. This will be stacking that unfortunate record even higher against them. And just knowing that despite MOUZ's struggles on, say, a Dust 2 with the map pool changes and whatnot, and that T-side still being under question, Inferno is an absolutely justified map pick and something that they can still continue to bank on for sure. And once again, Spinx topping the charts. Surprisingly, alongside Brolin, but the consistency that Spinx continues to bring to this table is something that MOUZ will be happy they can bank on.
And now we're on the CT side, so you know he's gonna keep going.
Yeah. We'll get to see if Xertion is tested, but there shouldn't be much of a test whatsoever. Pistols back for Navi once more. MOUZ's 11th round looking like an absolute freebie.
What could go wrong, really?
Somebody could rush the stage.
Yeah.
I think that's cost MOUZ in the past.
My goodness. Somehow too soon. That's a while ago.
Slain in brackets. This one's done for. 2 rounds from the victory here, MOUZ on their map pick in a 1-0 pool that they are looking to skate right through.
MOUZ need to win this tournament and yell at everybody.
Yeah, back to back.
They just need to yell at everybody.
No, I think there's an honest call for kind of this like us versus the world mentality at the moment. I think, you know, we had a small discussion about it with Katie and yesterday. I feel like a discourse online in the same vein, where it's like, listen, if people are just for whatever their reason are going to dislike you and kind of cheer against you, then you are on your own and you got to come together, right? And does that pressure just kind of somehow make MOUZ better? It hasn't so far, but embrace it, man. Counter-Strike's always better with villains. I don't know what MOUZ did to deserve that. You know, I really don't, but hey.
Yeah, that's true. You got to be cut out for it, or you just got to watch a little, like, WWE.
Yeah.
And get in the spirit.
Sure.
Realize that it's actually all just for fun.
Missed utility coming out from Navi. That smoke grenade interrupts it.
It's a big fake show we got going. Don't take it too seriously.
Throw someone through a table.
Yeah. Hell in the cell.
We'll have PGL lower a cage on top of the players.
Yes.
You guys can have that idea for free.
Imagine the octagon comes down.
Spinx just straight up steps into MongolZ and melts him. 4 and 14. MongolZ not having a good day And now Ema is able to find something to pull on as far as the A setup goes. 4v2 within this bomb site, and now all of a sudden your Arch player falls for free. Jimmy, under pressure, is still able to shave one off, but Wonderful's got the clear despite the disadvantage of the Galil, so good on Ema getting that kill out from Boiler. They needed a response, but does the bomb plant still mean Navi win this round? Because Spinx takes that early look. They're concerned about the Arch side, but now it is Brolin to be able to slot in.
But a resmoke on Moto is just going to kill so much of the clock here.
Still time, though, and still utility. Brolin's Incendiary could flush somebody out of pit to maybe give Spinx the duel he wants. He's going to go for
slow.
backside instead, and then Bit, feeling that squeeze, decides to make it happen. Majority survive here for Navi in a 4 versus 5. They will step out through the boiler thanks to Ema and just jump onto that A-bomb site.
You know, we've all been MongolZ in a game like this, and this is a moment where you blow up on the first death. It's like one of your last potential rifle rounds. You know it's your last potential chance to save your team and get your score back in order. And then Ema gives you this kill, Alexi gives you this round, and you have another chance. Like, there's no greater moment of relief in this game to know you've got another rifle round to try. You've got a good team behind you, and so here we go. A run back. It's a full buy still for MOUZ, but a lifeline for MongolZ.
Man, tough day in the office.
45 and stuff.
Ooh, but still, Bit is able to find one over on the A site. So maybe if Banana continues to go MOUZ's way, if MongolZ's struggles continue, there is another option, and it's one that Navi are looking to tap back into. No huge movement out of MOUZ off of that. Jimmy's going to start to make the apartments push. Double inside of the apps, though, for the attackers is going to net Navi another advantage.
It's kind of crazy to see him alone. I feel like with the push solo, MOUZ are instantly worried about it being an A play because they feel like they've given up so much information, a lot of space. But Navi are actually just waiting for them to leave. This is a really great read from Navi.
Flashes on the cross to make it sure, and yeah, find certainty inside of the B site. Nothing here to stop you. We've got Navi looking to make a game of it on this T side. What kind of a save is guaranteed here? Bit onto the chase, maybe not anticipating two, so he's offered up, and that'll be MOUZ running for the hills as bomb planted B site means Navi find a 7th. MOUZ still sit 2 rounds from victory here on Inferno, but Navi giving them something to think about. And yet again in this round, Mohan, it does not come from an uptick in MongolZ's success towards Banana, but just another opening kill over towards that A site, this time by way of Bit.
I mean, him not dying is actually an unironically good first step because going down to 45 HP on grenades as a Banana defaulter is not a failure. Dying is, for sure. But it just wasn't really necessary, and then they came back to Banana control after that. So again, it's sort of just another chance. Obviously, he's not going to be satisfied if they pull it back sort of without his help, but only score that truly matters is the one at the top. And here's where Cyclone gets involved.
Such a successful T side that MOUZ were able to sit with still no pauses used until this second half.
Yeah. That is a big luxury. But you've always got to wrestle with letting Blade in as well. Well, now if you're trying to make a T side comeback, you'll be happy when Cyclone takes an X pause.
jostling on Banana thanks to the utility. The cache of nades gets picked up by Brolin. And Navi going to test the waters of brackets yet again. There's been 2 critical moments where MOUZ lose a player on this A site that have kind of given Navi an advantage, an edge, and an ability to continue to keep this pressure up, keeping the numbers split. But look at this move. After all that utility, we're going to get an early reposition here from Brolin. 4 players A-site lean out of MOUZ, and at the moment, it looks like Navi are indeed coming this way.
They're finding the right place to squeeze, though. They're actually coming in more heavily from Arch with the op behind him.
Brolin goes
getting
far
into Hunter
forward
right now, and
Spinx is going to do the same, takes a step into the boiler side, and Wonderful's got Brolin done for. But now here comes this commitment because numbers are thinking it's strong for Navi, and still they will follow through with the 2 kills already. We get this Torzi op repositioned in the bomb site. He'll be low health, as is Spinx. 19 health between the 2, so
the Molly
5
death?
kills, but the 4th. Still able to make that difference. And Spinx does a good job of keeping himself into the cover. Wonderful's going to catch the kill. Zershin comes out from Library, and the pit cross out of MongolZ delayed. As Zershin looks for that, it's a peek from the right side. Navi continue to squeeze this A site for everything it's worth.
it's perfectly handled from Navi. I thought they were about to go too quick again, but the Molly kill, however that happened, that was such a big find. Spinx's 2 kills from pit could have been 3, could have been a maintained crossfire for a little longer if that hadn't gone down. So whatever caused that worked out well here for Navi.
And now finally you've busted up the money of MOUZ. Threat is real as Navi is looking to put together the streak. 3 rounds in a row already. Down to 2 pieces of utility. The smoke on both Brolin and Jimmy. And we saw in that first half what happens when you don't have the nades to hold back Banana. MOUZ instantly jumping into it on their attack. Navi looking to do the same thing.
So they go into a stack early.
Famas is in the back of the site. MP9 up above. MongolZ will find a key headshot. Oh, but Ime able to spam through the edge of the smoke.
They
Best Brolin 4v3 for Navi plus the gun advantage.
Yeah, interesting. Are they going to pause and return, or will they take it up mid? They know that Torzi was there. The weird part is Torzi wasn't spotted playing rotation. He was spotted in the site. So if they don't threaten it at all, obviously MOUZ are going to be more worried. Navi are going to be more worried about A. And it's another stacker save here for MOUZ. They go right into that A play, and Navi are trying to feed into their fears as they take it to B. Another looks like perfect call. This is like Groundhog Day. They had this exact situation, the right read, an empty B site, and a low friction victory here for Navi to make it a 2-round game. Unless MOUZ can make a retake happen somehow. No. No chance.
Bomb has been planted.
It's going to find the clean sweep as well. Blindsides Torzi to end this one. 4 players stand tall, and you bottom out. Whatever MOUZ had hoped to save. Still plenty of money for the rebuy, so it's coming out for MOUZ. Gunning for a 12th right here in round 21.
This is looking like a walkover, man. This is wildly impressive from Navi.
Cyclone wants to use that second timeout.
Here's where I'd like to know what kind of timeout this is.
It's a second timeout. That's what kind of timeout.
Is it going to be like a tactical timeout, or is it going to be a confidence timeout? What is Cyclone hearing in the comms?
What is it that he doesn't like about it? As far as individual level is, MOUZ across the board doing enough, but these rounds are just getting racked up by way of X Factor. A couple critical entries here, despite the struggle of the majority of Navi's team. 2 rounds away from tying this game at 11. Zershin back to a banana fight. Frag grenade is landed on top of his head. He will be dropped down to 55 health. And Torzy smoking off middles, looking for an angle into Boiler. He just missed the timing on the first cross, sticks around on that, and it's going to cost him half his health. Ema would have loved to have gotten an opening kill yet again, but I think damage on both sides of the map right now, Navi just still can't rush this.
Bit shocking that Emma sees him and still goes for the duel. And Torzy hoping that he hit it, but now it's a distinct advantage for Navi. It's still a minute 10.
I think it's because of the success that Navi have had in those kind of lightning moments where somebody senses a Boiler kill, where somebody feels the banana squeeze.
Oh my goodness.
That Ema tries to get back to that. Like you said, surprised to see him go into the challenge despite being watched, but hey, he's got Torzy down to 37 health.
Now, this is an interesting prospect. They have cleared out all of car control. This is likely a 2-3 setup, but they know for a fact the confirmed damage is on the A site. And so the calculation might be simple as that. These could be easier trades. But if you've got it 2-3, you're going A anyway, so...
Worried about balcony. Spinx
He's got to be the hero, man.
up close.
Health.
You've got Bit down low. You've got a bunch of players grouping up, and he will find Alexi in the middle of the pack. Then Jimmy's able to kill Ema. Oh, a second. Oh! Spinx is right there to stop it.
He didn't lose a single point of health on that hold. Just headshots. 21-12 is Spinx off that round.
Rock solid defense out of Spinx yet again. I said across the board, MOUZ looks solid, but Spinx is above and beyond. Comes through with a critical multi-kill. In a map and a conversation where we said you just kind of, oh, hold on, Bit. Oh, after time.
After time.
Punishing situation here for Navi. The comeback feeling real with 4 rounds in a row, but Spinx puts the emergency brakes on this hit.
Bit just loves dying after time at the end of games.
X Factor moment out of one of MOUZ's members, and of course, it is Spinx.
Luckily for him, got a couple of grenades. He has his armor. He has his AK. Kazi and Alexi with Galils.
Oh, reliable. Coming through again. Torzy, confident to take the angle down middle. This could be a wave to find a 5v4, but he gives up that initial attempt, and this is Navi just tiptoeing their way towards B. Guns in hand, nades on their belts. Wavy utility comes out of MOUZ to interrupt this exact push through. Alexi's still able to get his positioning into the car. CT send their frag grenades over top, but Navi know what they want, and it is this B bomb site. Met by a wave of utility, though.
This is a huge cancel. They've got 4 guys all running back. Getting to get grouped up inside of middle immediately, it looks like Torzy is suspicious that he doesn't need to stay here. He's left a cache of utility, and now coming into lean towards the A side. It's not really a stack.
Navi go right back in.
Back, just double.
Fine by them. More frag grenades come through. Missed chance for any more damage. Damage and death if those nades find either MongolZ or Alexi B.
This is a big decision.
It's going to be smoke on a CT, but another one dropped by Xertion. A chance to interrupt Navi's attempt yet again. Deep CT smoke to block off any boost, but that's not the case. It's not a third player to occupy. Xertion sees them go by. MongolZ's team kill in the middle of that puts Brolin in a prime spot, but Bit's wallbang in through Coffin is the only thing that keeps Navi in this game. It is a 1v4 demanded of Bit. He gets the first kill, gives himself the post plant. Oh, and he finds Jimmy on the side of that smoke. You've got this banana player already encroaching. Spinx ready to close this. Coffin challenge next. Bit's reposition. This is huge. Able to get into the new box, but that AK-47, not the most amount of bullets. Torzy starting to get it ever closer, crosses over, lands the off shot. MOUZ are here to end this. Inferno is pushed over the line. Rock solid hold inside of Pit from Spinx, cues up the close.
What a fun first map to get us started here at PGL Cluj for day number 2. A lot of backwards and forwards. Let's go right back to the start, so the first half. I think that's where I kind of want to have a conversation, if you like. What was it specifically about why Navi was struck?
Things could get real sketchy for the likes of MOUZ. On an individual level, they were dominating a part of that game, but the struggle to close out in the second half was real, and now they'll have their hands full as Navi take to their home turf.
We got some dignity rounds at the end of the first map for Navi. That's a nice sign. When we go to Mirage, yes, I think, well, they have they're much more formidable. It's a fine pick for them. Obviously, makes a lot of sense. I feel like it's one of these games where if we go to map 3, I mean, suddenly we're going to be really worried about MOUZ because of their T side on Dust 2. Not just their last one, but their last 4. That's been a huge sore point for them. And so I can only assume they have some level of confidence knowing what Navi would have picked here to try to pick up this victory. So let's see what they have cooking.
Pistol rounds were split back on Inferno. Both teams won the pistol and lost to the force buy that followed suit. I think they'll both be trying to buck that trend here on Mirage. Right now we get a good amount of mid control for Navi, going through the motions with a good amount of utility as well, right? Smokes and flashes were there as needed, although nobody home, so not really needed in the end. Spinx is going to collect with a headshot. Man advantage out of MOUZ for the CT side. And a bit of a scramble here for Navi because they get stuck up in the stairs, but Alexi comes through with the headshot. Spinx goes down and Torzi goes big with that double. Trying to keep it back and forth. Navi looking for the challenge into Ticket, but Jimmy's already slipped on top of the garbage can. Ooh, they fake plant. They charge him down, and they clear it. So well done here by Navi, because now all routes are open, but if you think you're getting to B, Xertion is ahead of it. He'll have to shoot through the vent. This is going to get awkward. He pops it. MongolZ finds the headshot as Emad just goes jumping over, and it's Navi to win pistol despite the 4v5.
Going around through CT felt so crazy. I mean, because he's very highly likely around connector, but maybe he was flanking ramp, maybe he was flanking Palace, but even if he was doing that, you still have time to plant. And I think Xertion plays it pretty well to give himself a chance at this. But overall, it's just an overrun site. But now the real question remains, you brought it up. Last map, pistols didn't matter. The conversions were denied both times. Let's see if they can pull it off again. Because I think it's actually more interesting to keep the trend continuing, Connor.
Okay, I like that. Whether or not it's the cleanest Counter-Strike or the most entertaining. MP9 here in connector gets absolutely blasted, but Xertion still able to... Jumping MP9 headshot for the third. Two players go down, but Xertion makes up for it in spades.
He got the trade from underpass, got both walking down to connector, and jumped up to get the kill on Cat, and it made it look like the gun was just built for that, like it was a guaranteed frag. That's how clean it was. Oh, that was good.
Ooh, listen.
That was a headshot.
MP7 may have that thing covered in the damage nowadays, but jumping accuracy MP9 still feels like it hasn't been nerfed into irrelevancy.
So, here we go.
It's all about picking the right tool for the job.
No conversions in this series.
Wow.
I was just thinking in my head, like if you polled everyone and you said, if you play an anti-eco perfectly, will you win every time? I would love to know what people's answers would be.
I feel like you should ask Alexi. I just feel like he'd have the right answer.
I feel like his answer would be no. I feel like most people would say no.
Right,
because there is no perfect would probably be the best counter. Just, high odds of it happening, obviously. Then I guess I would ask what percentage you would give it. I feel like if you played it perfectly as best you possibly could with the gun advantage, it's got to leave you at 90, 95%, right?
I was thinking the exact same numbers.
Okay, yeah.
Literally.
But you see around like that, it's like there's actually not much more they could have done against him. Torzi with a $100 off kill here on round 3.
Leans back. And he's going to have that Tech 9 to
wait,
challenge
hold
him.
on. Torzi just died his op.
Yep. Emad peeks down
give
into
up
it.
ops on rounds like this.
Oh, he just did. And Jimmy,
bomb
MP7
plant?
in hand, tucked into the corner. If the jungle retake really starts going well, then exactly this. Emad's going to get drawn back towards the bomb site itself, but as he does so, he's going to collect 2 more.
Watch him.
Onto the 3K already. You'd think maybe Jimmy's able to strike while that... Oh, okay. Bits Desert Eagle comes through. You shove that 90% where the sun doesn't shine. This is a big push from Ema in with the triple. Makes the most of that picked up op and says, thank you, Torzy. 4750. He doesn't have to spend. And Wonderful will be set up to thrive in the next one.
This is beyond disaster. I mean, because you're buying the op knowing it's not even for this round. You're buying the op because you're just going to guarantee win the conversion on your anti-conversion. And the next round, they're going to have rifles.
Guarantee, you say?
Guaranteed. But then the problem is it's the worst round to lose it. It swings the odds so heavily in the favor of the team that picks it up with a bomb plan and CT control at the exact same time. That was a great shot. It does not get worse than that.
Force buys keep on coming, and they're set up here in underpass. Ooh, Ema actually getting the player in the background, but that was the AK drop for a moment. Torzy gonna come back in, and what do you know? 4v3 here for MOUZ. Take the gloves off, Mo. We are bare knuckle fighting here on Mirage for the start.
Oh, but there's that Torzy op.
Yeah. Spinx feels the wrath of it.
And Torzy's locked in underpass, and even though he could leave through the back, they know he's worried about it. So while they have him contained, it's possible they try to make a move. He is bravely staying here and just watching his flank on both sides. Looks like he'll finally try to exit through middle, and Wonderful, will he miss this timing? Oh, going up cat.
There's three of them. Somebody sure. Nobody. Torzy on for the ace, and he's almost there. 24! The headshots from Torzy for 5.
And that is the shortest nightmare that MOUZ have experienced. That op that he gave over to Wonderful that got him a kill this round.
It's got to be Torzy.
He gets the ace.
He buys the op, he gives them the op, and he comes through with 5.
And you know what makes up for it even more? They had a saved AK from the last round.
Yep. You've got my op, I've got your Kalashnikov, and Torzy goes 5 for 5 on the headshots in the ace.
Very well done.
And he dodged a freight train when it was Xertion to die behind him. He swings in with the MP9 to open shop within that force buy. And it is free fall between these teams at the moment. Nobody can catch their footing just yet. We've got Tech9s and a Galil here for Wonderful. As Ema has found a timing inside of Connector, but Xertion gives it that cautious shoulder and so spots the early threat.
So we get Ema with an op highlight, Torzy with a rifle highlight. What's next? No one winning a round in a row.
Feeling confident here for the A push, but there's 4 players here. Oh, but they're crawling around. MP7, so good.
Very good.
Damage slams Wonderful into Lexi against the wall. Spinx has a shadow advantage and bomb possession at his feet, and so it seems like it will be MOUZ to pull it off first. Consecutive round wins queued up off of a brave push by Brolin, and one that, you know, based on timing, I feel like he almost got caught by a whole pack of Navi players. Instead, he gets into the corner and has Wonderful just crouch sliding into his angle. So all is good here for MOUZ.
Hectic starts to these games. That's obviously the most. Not exactly how we saw it play out after that op got given up.
Torzy with his hands back on it. There will be no... Oh, don't die after time again, Bit. Twice within a series?
Twice in a series, and would have been third time at this event.
Honestly, they could have waited to do that, right? I feel like MOUZ just gave him a gift. Xertion going in with still 5 seconds. You had Jimmy flanking the other side. If you really wanted to get him after time, it was there for the taking.
Yeah, but you leave him in that L hallway, and then you have to take him on, like, a fight on his own terms.
Right.
So,
yep. And I feel like with the start of this game, leave nothing up to those kinds of slight margins. Let's just win the round, shall we? And MOUZ do exactly that, pulling ahead 3-2 early on Mirage after a wild... You know, I said buckle up, this was going to be the rodeo, and I mean bucking the entire time. Both these teams trying to catch momentum. Torzy back on his AWP, waiting to use this damn thing after buying it in round 3. And he will be off to the races here within Mirage. 9-2 is his start now. Big thanks to the ace. Hello. A Glock comes through the underpass smoke with the bomb. Brother just pushed the underpass smoke with a Glock and the bomb.
Glock and the bomb, man. I love that. I feel like that's some kind of strain of weed or something.
And Emma just hit him with the all cap, what's up, in the all chat.
What's up?
Nice shot, Torzy. Nice one, Alexi. Back and forth we go, but it's 3 surviving here for MOUZ. Yeah, sit him down and sit on him.
I mean, if he sat there behind the smoke, what are they going to do? They all have to wait until that whole mid situation plays out. There's no one there to help him.
What's up?
Was it 3 headshots? Or is it 2 and some body spam?
Yeah. 2 shots to the body.
And a 2-round gap.
And by God, we've got guns in both hands team. Oh. Guns in both teams' hands. ForceFi's got me frazzled. 7 rounds into this game, and we finally feel like we're getting into some kind of normal realm.
Foot job have done it.
Not the most comfortable start, though, for Navi. 2 players down to the halfway point and utility dwindling.
I love the CT setups from MOUZ on Mirage. They're just that little bit of innovative. It's like all 3 spots you'd see used in pairs of 2 sometimes, but they know how to really snowball a CT setup into like denying all trades. This is the wrong time to go A. A little low on HP, so many guys here. Big gets the first one though.
It's a much needed entry with so many players on site. Now a missed opportunity for Torzy to strike one down, but they could forget about Brolin if he wasn't making all this sound. Trying to jump up over the corner, and he just offers up a freebie. Still now 3 players damaged on the Navi squad.
That's a perfect example of like you could have enough players. A setup with like a well-intentioned setup. You didn't just rotate in there, and yet just get totally mowed down.
I mean, that's early damage on 2 players before the commitment.
Yeah.
That's 4 players within the bomb site ready to go.
Yeah.
Smoke grenade for Brolin to work behind, but a couple of clean entries out of Navi. Nice headshot bit. And a couple of
shot from Torzy.
Small details, right?
First ninja missed the boost twice.
What the hell?
Jumped. Yeah. Don't know how the bit kill happened.
You know, you said it earlier, it's like game plan versus execution.
Execution every day.
This one was the execution, and it went horribly wrong.
Execution every day.
Let's go!
But we start from, should I start from under or should I?
Dangerous game floating out bottom middle like that, but he'll get back before there's any real Navi threat nearby. Bit again with an opening kill. Torzy goes down. Oh, Xerxin, nicely done. Kills a player bottom middle and then still holds back for the cap play. It's Alexi to get the rebound going in through connector and a real chance at the split, but Spinx, unbeknownst to MongolZ, down beneath the palace. And Spinx trying to get into default now. Oh, but Alexi's got another. Insta headshot comes out from the Galil. Xerxin 2 kills in. They're still thinking he could be towards the window. He slides out and strikes to perfection. Triple kill secured. And Wonderful on the chase. Soon has to worry about Jimmy through connectors. Smoke fades, bombs in front of Jimmy's angle, and it is an easy cleanup between the two. Multi-frag for Xerxin, and a much-needed round as it's going to keep Navi on the one-off. No consecutive rounds so far for the T side.
That's true. It was a story for both of them for a second, but some very slick rifling from Xerxin. Some more great moments from him. And, you know, when MOUZ started coming up, for me it was about Xerxin on Mirage. And I think he actually had some influence on how riflers approach the map, for sure, with how he plays around connectors, particularly on T side, but his comfort on the map and MOUZ is still there, obviously. So, timeout coming out here for Navi. Can they afford 2 slow starts? They've got all that grit and determination, but it just... You take this to a playoff game, and that's going to matter more.
100%.
You know, I think MOUZ have shown that they can compete with all these rosters. Like the Desk brought that up. It's like just given the right circumstances, it's a team that's hard to say, okay, what do we do next? Because we have shown that on one day we can beat anybody, basically.
And yesterday's victory for Navi was very convincing. You know, I think that's why, like, Maui Snake even kind of said, he's like, I've kind of got this almost blind faith in Navi's ability to kick it up today.
Yeah, same. I felt the same.
Right? Agreed.
Yeah.
With MOUZ's struggles on the T side of Dust 2 and the map pool, we thought if Navi are able to push it, we thought at the very least Navi's ability to get to a third map would be birthed off the success of yesterday. But now they just continue to get chewed up on these approaches. Bit will give us something to think about with that headshot back. Bomb crossing over to the triple stack. And Alexi doesn't need ticket control, as they will take a glance towards jungle instead. Off of Wonderful's stairs angle, Xerxin's gonna put out the fire, hits the headshot on Alexi, who still survives, but then we get this Jimmy challenge out around the side of the smoke, and unfortunately here for Navi, they've lost the wind in their sails as the bomb gets dropped on Alexi's corpse. Bit comes back with another headshot, sub 20 HP for that one. And now Torzi to a clutch.
Got a spot, actually, to push out, and Bit isn't totally aware of this.
Ooh, he wants the cover, and he'll get into it. He's going to confirm both positions, but he needs to nail these shots. Bit goes wide, Bit goes down.
They can't isolate him.
Torzi trying to go big. Will reposition here at 20 seconds, giving a little space over to Ime.
I mean, this bomb, it will have to be picked up and planted on the back of triple. It just makes sense. Him is not going to have many other options. Hoping to fake to draw this out. This favors Torzi. He's peeled all the way back.
Happy to sit on the angle.
One more
a second fake. And it works wonderfully. Ime goes for a second one. Bullet whizzes by, and Navi gonna push the limits here as we go 4 rounds back and forth between the teams.
That's a tough moment for Torzi. He gets the first kill. I think that's the hardest one. Bit on the left side of the balcony as he peeks out the right side of the back of triple while spotted after missing another shot. So it's overall just a little bit spotty from him because the play is right. He draws out that peak, and even though he's walking back into CT after the first fake, he's still good for the shot. It's still a pretty good shot for him, but he's just not extremely sharp right now.
What are these Bit headshots looking like? Because he comes through with 2 critical openings out of Palace. Oh, we saw an arm on Jimmy. Oof. Clean spray. Had a clean play out of Ime, right? Faking twice.
I'm not sure if he was technically, you know, if he feels like, oops, or if he just assumed that Torzi would miss.
Looking to take this towards B. We haven't seen any action on this half of the map, and now Spinx is going to have his hands full. Oh, clean shooting out of Spinx. Both of those headshots, and Navi's attempted momentum towards this B site hits a brick wall by the name of Spinx. Well then.
That was a members only bullet right there. That last, that second kill, my goodness.
These tight sprays have been nice these last couple rounds. Everybody putting the elite rifle work on display. Wonderful's going to peek into Xertion here. Oh, never mind. They're going to go Bit instead. Don't want to give that scope audio. Don't want to give Xertion any kind of warning. He dismantled the boost, and Xertion still doesn't know about it. They check the other side, and they just know that he's probably around here, right? They're looking for that thread to pull on. The one kill that unravels the setup and gives an opening over to Navi.
Timing. Oh, Bits.
That's the perfect camera angle for that. Just drops out of frame, gives Xertion that high alert that they were so cautious about giving him, and now Alexi 11 HP gets one,
Totally
but that's
bungled
all that'll happen. We go 5 rounds back and forth.
Xertion had his back turned.
Yeah.
3v5. That's a moment. Window control. 3v4 now. Totally allow your teammates to get a connector. Very different round.
They were so good about reducing all the possible noise until that one, too.
Yeah.
And you see the effect it has. Xertion whips around, ready to stop it. And with that, MOUZ may have just guaranteed themselves, at the very least, a 7-round CT side. Pistols in hand here for Navi now. And unfortunately for them, 1 round of loss bonus going into the next round, too. So it is not a comfortable finish to this half whatsoever.
It's a salient observation. Wonder what Navi are thinking. Can't skip this round. Got to get that bomb plant.
Trying to go back at the B site and hoping Spinx doesn't just stop you in your tracks again. Jimmy playing a dangerous game. There's a chance, although slim, to Ima for both those shots. He'll get that utility out of the B defense at a minute 10. Wonderful challenging you to go back into that window peak. These 3 players group up down in bottom middle.
They're like manufacturing these small opportunities,
Yeah.
but they're just not hitting that 6 shot that they need.
Start of this half, they were able to kind of tap into that. It's crazy that that boost is in position and the Cat player still gets away with kills.
Yeah.
Ooh, there it is. That's
Okay.
that 6 shot. P250 headshot comes through from Bit. Try to keep this round alive in 20 seconds, but Xertion is just the bane of their existence from mid. And now Emet, 32 HP, V3, 15 on the clock, and they have figured out where he's at. So no bomb possession, nothing to go from at that point forward. And what's wild is in no round so far that Navi have lost,
Yeah.
have they gotten a bomb plant. The economy has been
That's
kind of
tough.
racked up against them in the middle of all this.
Yeah, that compounds the wrong way. And
You know-
like they've got that problem now.
Yep. It's crazy that they've won the pistol. They've won the EMET Tech 9 push into Ticket to steal the AK in round 3, and that is half of the rounds that Navi have on this T side.
It's not impressive when you frame it like that.
Yeah, I don't mean to throw them under the bus. It's just where we're at. Now we're going to get the 2 CTs pushing to the top of middle. EMET thinking he's ahead of it all, but Xertion finds the angle, and Spinx is going to collect his. Top of that, you've got the double nade into this Navi pack, gunning towards the B-bomb site yet again, and Jimmy's happy to just give them the rope.
So good.
This one looking all wrapped up. Put a bow on it. MOUZ going massive with an 8-round CT side, and not a single bomb plant throughout all the rounds MOUZ win. So stellar stuff from this defense, barring a couple X-Factor Navi moments.
Yeah, so this feels a little bit different than, again, Inferno. You could give them the excuse of the map. It's not one they were looking forward to as much. But now we're a map warmed up. And I think even yesterday, Navi, were they like a little rusty looking on map 1? They both, them and PARIVISION, weren't even playing like super perfect. Well, we're a day in. This is when you do normally expect to power up. So it's hard to say that it's so disappointing. It's not like they've made blatant errors to get here. It is mostly that MOUZ punish game is so good.
It's
that
so
their
good.
tactics are so good. Their aimers are on point. I mean, the way Spinx saved Inferno, Xertion's 3Ks, and like Torzi's ace. It's just they've got more
Huge.
level. Yeah.
Yep, Torzi
More
showing us
consistency, more floor.
You know, again, yesterday on Inferno, we always say it's a little harder for the Oppers to get it going. I mean, he had a pretty abysmal Dust 2 to start the series versus PARIVISION.
Right.
Inferno was like an okay game, and nice to see the recovery, and then he found his impact map 3. We play Mirage today, and again, Inferno, okay for Torzi, now rock solid, right?
Yeah.
He's right up there with Xerxin, 14 kills Xerxin, 13 frags on Torzi. You've got two players that are really the driving force of MOUZ's success, and then Spinx doing what he does and remaining consistent in the middle. So 8-4, looking solid out of MOUZ. They will be happy with that CT side, but we also saw their inability to close out on Inferno, and we'll see if NAVI can find any room to wiggle back into this series this time.
It's also like a funny stat to be like, no one's ever converting those pistols, but like that's just going to count heavily against NAVI at this point.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because we go back to Inferno, when they won that pistol, we said like, oh, now they've got the chance. Like, winning pistol gave them the chance. That chance stripped away when they lost to the Force Buy. I think we're in that similar vein right here, right now. So Emet versus Brolin, and Brolin had a lot to lose with this smoke and Molotov. If he dies to that, suddenly Spinx doesn't have as much nades to bank off of, and MongolZ, distracted with that bottom mid success, is going to fall victim to Spinx's top mid play. Really nice tethering here from MOUZ. They come in with an idea, they apply it to perfection, and they don't waste any time in terms of getting those kills.
And just 1 for 1, man. They do have better attacks. And, you know, like NAVI, I love their mid-round, late-round situations. But when it comes to, like, their set plays, R-Trap on Inferno, or even this A-play compared to NAVI's, it's a couple extra details that MOUZ will implore, keep it totally cohesive the entire time, and yet now they have more options. Like, you have that lurk coming in from top mid. When they played the R-Trap on Dust 2, they made sure to have a lane player, made sure to slow it down. They really took a little extra time in these moments to fight for more space, guarantee their position, and dispel some of the randomness that can come with the game and one guy losing a fight.
So we find ourselves for the 4th time in this series, waiting to see if the Force Buy comes through. NAVI need it. They've invested into it.
Yeah, but just because the stat would be hilarious. I mean, when's the last time that's happened?
Probably not as long ago as we think.
Yeah.
In this day and age.
That was like 900 games happening every day.
And that's just on the B stream. Ooh, I would not want to be Emet in this moment. 5-7 inside B site. Cat player can maybe come help. I guess the market scramble is still close enough.
It's smoked.
Yeah, he's not alone, actually.
They're out.
Players all around him. They're going to try to just still test this into the B site. We're waiting for Emet's chance, but it's bitten MongolZ with the Deagle headshot. We're right on the brink of it. 4 for 4, perhaps. Secured. As yet again, pistols prevail in the 2nd round of a half.
Yeah, or rather, pistols don't matter. That's
Which is
actually
maybe,
uncanny.
in the bigger picture, a good thing. Because people always say pistols rounds aren't Counter-Strike.
Yeah,
And nobody ever says Force Buys aren't Counter-Strike.
true.
And so pistols only worth 1. 4 halves of 4 halves in this series. And I thought Emet was feeling very alone, but those very quick scrambles from the murder hole into the B bomb site meant that NAVI were on site and seen to stop it. Force Buy back at a MOUZ, insta shutdown here. Yeah, ready.
They've also split the pistols both times, right?
Yes, sir.
So, you know, normally there's some kind of sign that comes with it. Oh, it's one team, they win the pistols, but they can't convert them. And then we can draw some conclusion for that. But in this game, we're characterizing MOUZ as a dominant team, and they're just better overall. But they're having the exact same problem with their conversions. Hilarious how that just changes the score entirely. I mean, it's now, they've already got 2 rounds back. They've stopped MOUZ from getting an extra and getting to 10 right away. And just like that, it's a 3-round game. Could have very easily been 5 in favor of MOUZ. be a very energizing victory if Navi pulled this out and had to look forward to Dust 2 and, you know, MOUZ didn't beat the stats when it came to their T-sides over there. That's... a lot could have come with that one conversion denial, even though there's been 4 of them. This last one, again, we know Navi are happy to be on Mirage. Maybe the round deficit was just an illusion.
Got to go through it. You hate that timing if you are MOUZ. Nothing you can do in this one. Just looking to make sure MongolZ doesn't drop to the Glock, but sure enough, he will die. So 1 death on the side of Navi. They're fine by that. Let's get this game tied up, shall we? It's going to have to take a couple gun v gun rounds. MOUZ coming in with their purchase right here, right now, as they still hold on to this 9-7 lead. For now.
For now, yeah. And Navi know as well that even though MOUZ are buying, it's not going to be like the most dangerous buy. They know they don't have to worry about an op.
Yes, sir.
It'll be wonderful to have that big advantage. Let's see if he swings it.
Jimmy's limitation to the Galil as well. Wonderful quickly up into the ladder room, finds the wide angle for mid. But nobody did go wide this round for MOUZ. Not instantly jumping behind those boxes, letting the Molotov burn out first. But eventually, it feels like Brolin's going to step into this crosshair of Wonderful. Navi looking for the CT side success story after a limited attack, their map pick. We get this fake execute for MOUZ into the A bomb site. Right now it is Alexi's MP9 alone. Insta-kill for Sershin. He'll take a bit of damage. Sure, Wonderful. Chance to shine. 2 shots connect. But Brolin's able to very swiftly go from that A fake into coming out top mid.
Yeah, kind of just pirouetted around and rotated. And Brolin gets another. Oh, they're getting decimated now. It's just Bit alone in a 1-on-3.
You know, Wonderful was waiting for Brolin since the beginning of that round. Jimmy is the player to add himself to the late mid play after throwing all of those A nades. But Brolin's timing still able to come through as mid was uncontested. And so just enough to maybe keep Navi thinking about the A site, but there really wasn't a lot of time between that fake A thrown by Jimmy and then the jump into this B bomb site.
Yeah.
Very quick, kind of left-right. And all of a sudden, MOUZ find double digits first.
Too often we see a mechanical fake where it's one thing happens here, 3 seconds later, you know,
yeah.
No one's trying to cheat timings, and I think that was a good example of seeing that happen.
Terrorists.
Again, another moment where we see the and that's what makes this the Dust 2 T-side stat so interesting is the other T-sides we've seen from MOUZ have been really compelling.
Makes you almost feel like it's a matter of time before they can figure out Dust 2.
Yeah, it's like almost like it's a hard map or something.
Donk doesn't make it feel too hard.
Yeah. I mean, I fully said that ironically. It is easy. If there was a map. I mean, these guys can play everything.
Yeah, what are their overpass T-side stats, but you can't figure out Dust 2?
Yeah, I mean,
what are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
That's like that guy that got hit in the head with a baseball can only remember the weather every single day since then, but like nothing else.
It sounds tragic, but I mean, probably make a great meteorologist.
Yeah, but also just like the most annoying conversations probably.
The Humidex today is actually... Does he make it? Yeah.
Oh, the bar's on the floor, right? With the amount of window smokes we've seen get missed.
Rolling down
tough.
to the spam.
That's a big find.
No way. Poor Ema. Just trying to cheat on the side of the corner, but Brolin's got it lined up, and Brolin's got it queued up as well. 5 versus 4. Still a good amount of cash in Navi's coffers, so it doesn't feel like it's pistols on the other side of this round loss, if that is the case. But obviously we're working with fine margins here as MOUZ sit on 10 rounds already.
Yeah. It's just that score. It's just becoming overwhelming, and also just repeating from the last map, and also just circumstances and expectations getting subverted. This B-walk looks like the right idea.
MongolZ already extended up catwalk, still concerned about middle.
They've been very good about spacing their cat players, and MongolZ's smoke is interesting, but it also keeps his eyes forward. His attention is totally split, and they're going to come through this.
Yeah, now he's just on display.
That's just way too easy.
Trusting
well
that
done,
smoke.
though, from MOUZ.
Yes, sir. Another, I think, T-side they could be proud of in terms of this round. The back-to-back, right? Really just nice work in terms of kind of pressuring the body, smoke top con, showing a little fake presence towards the A site, the place they faked last round, and then again we get Navi kind of having this lean towards it, despite not anybody coming out ramp, nobody even challenging Pal. They haven't seen a terrorist on or near the A bomb site, and yet Navi still seems so concerned about it.
They didn't even see a terrorist really this round.
Wow.
Killed through his smoke and shot in the back, lost a sight, and had to save.
So it's probably starting to feel like this game is just eluding them. They can't even get into the matchup. MongolZ has seen plenty of players, but unfortunately not able to stop them at the moment.
Terrorists win.
This T-side so far has been Brolin's chance to kind of catch up to the average of MOUZ. Another moment where, again, the discussion at the start of the day was kind of the praise to the collective, where everybody's going to have to bring it to the table today between these two teams, their systems, their coaches, their in-game leaders. So many parallels to draw, but right now MOUZ are simply better and looking to tap back into what was the consistency of 2025. This would put them in the 2-0 pool. 3 best-of-3 opportunities to secure the BTarena. And another playoffs berth for MOUZ. Mainstays of top 8, we say. It's guns in hands. As we alluded to, Navi's economy hasn't betrayed them just yet. Still concerned for what feels like the inevitable transition to this A bomb site. This could be the round it happens, and it is the round where Navi actually don't have much committed inside of the bomb site. Alexi working back from ticket.
He did get spotted by MongolZ.
He's walking up, and you've got Ema on the stairs waiting for this right side walk up. Double peek into connector. Beautiful adjustment out of Xerxin to get at least his one. And now all of a sudden, Wonderful finding a kill at the B bomb site. It's
gonna rotating.
Look at the draw, right? Seeing one player inside of the apartments made them feel like it was B yet again. And that is all they needed to get boots on the grounds of the A site. Perfectly flashed as Alexi. Oh, trying to regain his vision, comes back to him. MongolZ gets the trade, but another peek down in through from Jimmy, and we've got a 2v2 queued up.
And how do they want to play it? Do they want to go together? They know the T's are probably together.
Deep positioning. Wonderful tiptoes in and is bested by Torzy.
This one's getting ripped away from them. Bit has to come in for the clutch.
66 health to his name. Torzy on a tear to 17 frags in this map. Tries to go for the pre-spam. Not gonna happen. Torzy collects a second in the round. And Navi have not been in the right position what feels like all half long.
They got totally schooled right there. I mean, I've never seen them get played with that much. They were doing a good job on Inferno of like avoiding the stack site, but now it's just MOUZ's turn. And this has just been a fantastic T-side, however you want to characterize it. All the calls have been perfect. The execution has been perfect behind it. And here, just one player dying on B. They pulled 3 rotations. Like, Navi are one of the most shrewd teams in top 10. Like, they're in terms of not over-rotating, overreacting, like, you'd expect them to be the guys to not fall for something like this. But, like, first you see Xerxin's presence in connector. Now it feels like it is a B play. Then it feels like Roland's fully starting an exec over here. And just that one small moment totally upends all of their attempt to hold on to A, hang on to it, watch the A ramp, spot for the bomb crossing, get one chance on a pickoff. Once you lose control like that, you often don't get it back. Somehow MOUZ more impressive even than they were on Inferno at this point.
NAVI just trying to somehow pin down MOUZ, but again, how much uncertainty starts creeping into the back of your mind when you haven't been able to position yourself in front of MOUZ's attack. 3 rounds in a row, they get played with and outpositioned. And so maybe now it's time to make moves with certainty, secure outside of the A bomb site, be guaranteed that it's not MOUZ going in for either the fake or commitment. But while they take their time taking over ramp and not yet extending beyond it, it is once more MOUZ shifting their attention towards B. We'll get Xerxia to lay down some mid-utility. This could get Brolin into some sort of a challenge through Con. All while we get this jump up for MongolZ. He has to be able to deliver this round. Between him and Alexi B, there is a full-forced MOUZ camp coming their way. M4 in the corner. They'll go out through the window. Bomb carrier stop. MongolZ has got his double. Alexi B's down already. Torzi's Tech 9's going to tear through, and Brolin will be able to slip through mid-window and secure Marketplace. That deep positioning from Emet and Bit at the beginning of the round just gives more time for this retake to have to get in. And Emet tries to slice that timing in half by going for the rapid cat jump. Makes it happen. Gets the nades out. But MOUZ are sinking into their post plant for the win now. And as Bit is now tasked with the 1 versus 3 inside of the smoke grenades, Brolin will execute, and with this victory, MOUZ will progress to the 2-0 pool and re-secure the number 3 rank in the world, yet again gorging themselves on top 10 teams.
We called this the litmus test for these two teams. We said here